the motherland. Here now is your present Prime Morning Drive.
Welcome back to the Prime Morning Drive on Prime FM 105.5. It's a pack team, crack team. I told you from the start that as the coach put in charge of this match, I'm thinking who to start, where to go, and where to stop. So I've been joined in the studio by Arthur Beer, our head of news, and as part of the rotational policy that we started just before Kelvin traveled. Mondays and Wednesdays, I will not be on the PMD. I'll be there Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And then Arthur and Kelvin will be here Mondays and Wednesdays. And then Kelvin and I Tuesdays and Thursdays. Then Arthur and I Fridays. But Kelvin is way there in the US, so he will join us shortly, and then we'll have a crack team until when he shall have returned. Then we go back to the rotational policy. Shortly, we'll be joined also by our first guest, Vesely Sumo, the communications manager to House Speaker Reche Nangwe Kun. Ato, good morning, and how was your weekend, and how is the week?
Well, it's good. It's good to be here again and to share the platform with you and to talk about the issues that matter to our country. The weekend, of course, the week. We can complain, but we thank God for life, that we can be alive and have the opportunity to keep moving and fighting to reach our goal.
Okay, that's it. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays we do fact check, but let's bring you our wise words, and it comes from David Hurley. It says, the standard you walk past is the standard you accept. The standard you walk past is the standard you accept. So our health tip should be ready by tomorrow, hopefully. We've spoken to and back courtesy of Dr. Sandra Nangwe. Our health tip will be ready by tomorrow, holding all things constant. So you want to watch out for the danger of all the benefits of eating late. You want to watch out for it. Those of us who anytime, any day, any hour we love to eat, you want to watch out for that. So yeah. But let's do fact check back courtesy of Local Voices Liberia, and then when Vesely comes, then right after local fact check, then we join or Kelvin will join us, and then we look at a whole number of things when Vesely comes. So let's do fact check back courtesy of Local Voices Liberia.
Good day and welcome to the Fact Check segment. This segment debunks disinformation and provides the verified facts of statements made online and on the radio. Following the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of the new headquarters of the Congress for Democratic Change in Concord Town, Deputy Minister Cornelia Kura took to Facebook claiming that the Unity Party increased its votes from 457,579 in 2017 to 814,481 to win the 2023 elections, while the CDC moved from 732,185 in 2017 to 793,914 in 2023. Minister Kura made this claim on October 18 to highlight the UP's significant growth between the two elections, portraying the CDC as losing momentum and arguing that UP's 2023 victory was more substantial than the narrow margin of 20,000 as perceived. To verify this claim, we reviewed the official election results published by the National Elections Commission. According to the NEC, the Unity Party obtained 457,579 votes in the 2017 runoff presidential election, which it lost to the Coalition for Democratic Change, which secured 732,185 votes. In the 2023 runoff presidential election, the UP received 814,481 votes to win the presidency, while the CDC obtained 793,914 votes. A comparison of the two elections shows that the UP's vote count increased by 356,902, while the CDC's grew by 61,729 between 2017 and 2023. Based on these verified figures, we conclude that Deputy Minister Cornelia Kura's claim that the UP increased its votes from 457,579 in 2017 to 814,481 in 2023, while the CDC rose from 732,185 to 793,914 is correct. On October 7, Deputy Minister Depew Zwo appeared on Prime FM and made several claims about Liberia's economy, specifically inflation, while comparing what the Unity Party government inherited from the Coalition for Democratic Change. Among other things, Zwo claimed that when the CDC government took office in 2018, inflation worsened to 27%. He further asserted that the UP met inflation at 10.1% and reduced it to 8.2% in 2024. According to the International Monetary Fund, inflation measures how much more expensive a set of goods and services has become over a certain period, usually a year. To verify if inflation worsened to 27% under the CDC, we reviewed the CBL's Financial and Economic Bulletin and the Liberia Consumer Price Index balances covering January 2018 to January 2024, the CDC's period in power. Our review found that in November 2018, year-on-year inflation rose to 27.1% and increased further to 28.5% in December 2018. In May 2019, inflation again surpassed 27%, a trend that continued through October 2019. Based on this review, we conclude that Zwo's claim that inflation reached 27% under the CDC government is correct. To also verify if the inflation rate was at 10.1% when CDC turned power to the UP, we again reviewed the CBL Financial and Economic Bulletin and the LCPI balances from January to February 2024, and they show that in January 2024, inflation stood at 10.52%. By February 2024, it had risen to 10.74%. Based on this data, we conclude that Zwo's claim that inflation was 10.1% when UP took over is incorrect. While the figure is closed, the actual figure was 10.52%. This is all we have time for on the Fact Check segment. This segment is part of an MOU between Local Voices Liberia, OKFM, Prime FM, and Care Radio to counter disinformation to help the public make informed decisions. This MOU is funded by the Liberia Media Empowerment Project, implemented by Internews with funding from the European Union. The funder or partner had no say in the editorial decision, leading to the production of this Fact Check segment. We will be back on Wednesday with more Fact Check reports. to help you know the facts. If you want us to fact check or claim for you, please send us a text to WhatsApp on 0777-556-296 and we will definitely check for you. Also follow us on Facebook at Local Voices Liberia, X or Twitter at LVL Fact Check, and go to our website www.localvoicesliberia.com. My name is Olivia Bawon. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Thanks to Local Voices Liberia for the fact check. I'm a little bit confused when IMF have a data on inflation and then the central bank and the lists. Maybe we'll get some economists to read through the numbers and interpret the data. Let's announce that we've been joined by Vesely Sumo, communications manager to House Speaker Richie Namwe. I hope I got the title. I mean, sometimes I have to pay keen attention to people's names and how they call it and their titles. Am I correct? Communications manager or is head of communications or?
No, Darius, I'm not really interested in titles. That's the truth. I was in a vehicle just now and you were saying communications manager and somebody said, maybe you know, correct him. I'm not really interested in the title though. But honestly, my title is communications advisor.
Okay, communications advisor. Okay, we'll edit the post there and make the corrections. All right. We've also been joined on the line way there in the US by Kelvin Demi. Kelvin, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Darius. Good morning to the Vesely Small. Vesely, what's up? It's great being here, listening to you.
Yeah,
following the live from Greensboro, North Carolina.
It's good to hear from you as well.
Good morning to Liberia.
Let's hope that you're enjoying yourself.
The man is enjoying himself. He posted a video of him and his mom. They've not seen for years. So certainly I can confirm that the man is enjoying himself.
That you my official spokesperson.
Okay.
What's up, guys?
Yeah.
I'm here following. It's great to be back on the PMD virtually.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
I'm here.
Yeah. So let's pick up with Vesely. So at long last, it's been in the running even when you were here. Audit of the House, audit of the legislature. Bring us up to speed on where are we with this planned audit.
Yeah, thank you, Darius, and thanks, Arthur. It feels good being here again. There's this common saying in Liberia that the legislature is Liberia, and a lot of people buy into that. I don't 100% agree with that statement, but I agree in part.
Okay.
The only reason why I agree in part is because, or the part with which I agree, is that the legislature is our problem because they haven't been able to exercise their oversight over other government functionaries as much as they should. But we have to ask ourselves, why has the legislature been unable to exercise its oversight, authority as given it by the Constitution? And we could point to several factors, but one key factor is that, there's this popular saying that he who preaches equity must come with clean hands. It makes it difficult for the legislature, a body that is responsible to checkmate the other branches of government, to actually checkmate those branches when the legislature can checkmate itself. So, severally, the legislature, in my mind, has had to compromise with most of its oversight functions. Because when it gets to that point where, it has to be rigid about how, spending entities of government are, using government's money and how they account for them, then it falls back on them. They themselves are also a spending entity of government. The legislature has a budget. The legislature, like any other spending entity of government, is supposed to account for the money that they receive from the national coffers. So if the legislature is supposed to exercise its oversight function on other government functionaries, it too must account for what is given it. So that's why I believe that the legislature has been a part of the problem, because they can't exercise their oversight function as much as they should, because they themselves are not upholding the standard to which they're supposed to hold the other government institutions. And that's why an audit of the legislature is important. I will talk more about its importance later, but let's talk about the nature of this audit. Okay. Because somebody listening will want to know whether it's a full-fledged financial audit, because there are different kinds of audits.
Why the decision?
Why the decision to audit the legislature? And to pick up on that, there have been several conversations around auditing the legislature. We've had these conversations severally. They have been heard of, thought of, debated on the House's floor. This is not the first time it has come up, but it has never come to fruition. It has always been stalled. There have been several hurdles that this audit has not been able to jump past. So that's why this decision now to carry out this exercise makes it monumental. It is monumental because the leadership of the House, under the gavel of Speaker Kuhn, has been able to muster the courage to say, let's audit ourselves. So the scope of the audit is determined by the Auditor General.
Okay.
So the legislature does not determine the scope of the audit. So the legislature invites the GSC and say, as part of the GSC's function, according to their Act of 2014, they're supposed to audit all government institutions. The GSC could decide, let's go audit the legislature, right?
Without even an
invitation. But I think the GSC over the years have found it very difficult, to make that move. Even when they have made that move in the past, it had yielded no fruits. So this time the legislature said, come and do an audit of the legislature. We're open. The House of Representatives, that is under Speaker Kuhn's gavel or under his leadership, has said, come and audit us. We're open. And this also has a background. During the removal of the former speaker, the naysayers said part of the reasons why they wanted to remove the former speaker was because the former speaker was calling for an audit, right?
Yeah, I heard that.
Good. So this will put to bed, that misinformation that the folks were afraid of an audit. That's why they removed the former speaker. This clearly puts that to bed. So they've invited the GSC. Now, the Auditor General, in accordance with...
why if someone say maybe you yielding to the pressure to that Fonati wanted to do this, so if you don't do it, the backlash, comes on you?
Well, if it is a good yield, then there's nothing wrong. If we all are vouching for the same thing and it's a positive thing, well, we don't care whether somebody say, okay, because you're under pressure, well, we're all doing it for the common good. So it's a good thing to yield positively. But given that is the case, right, the GSC or the Auditor General, in accordance with Section 2.1.3 of the GSC Act of 2014, has the right to determine the scope of audit, has the right to determine how long the audit will last, when the results will come, and all of that. So we've given it to the Auditor General to decide that. So the Auditor General and his team came and did some assessment of the House's financial records and everything, and thought the first step would be to do a system audit or review. For an entity that has been using government's money all these years that has not been audited, it's difficult to just come and start looking through the records now. Even the best auditor will find it difficult. The easiest way an auditor can make their way through the system is if there is a system, a financial system, established financial system. And I think that's a problem because the House has not had a proper financial system. I tell you this, people raise vouchers, somebody put a signature on those things. Those things are flying seas, right? The proper system, automated financial system, is not in place at the House. So the first thing the Auditor General has said, let's audit the system. Let's see what systems you have in place. So we can, because at the end of every audit, there are recommendations, right? So at the end of this system audit that the Auditor General himself has decided to carry out, we expect that the recommendations from our audit will lead to the putting in place of proper systems that then will set the basis for a full-fledged financial audit of the legislature. So what this audit will basically do is to identify the loopholes in the financial systems at the legislature. And then at the end of this, the GSC will work along with the House to create, through its recommendations now, the House will then create these proper systems, put all the documents to where they should be, right? And then the GSC now will return with a full-fledged audit of the legislature. What time the GSC has chosen to audit from what period to what period is the GSC's decision. It's not the House's decision. So I heard a few persons say, why the House only wants to audit from this time to this time.
From January 2021 to December 2024. That's just 4 year period.
That was not the House's decision. That was the decision of the General Auditing Commission through the Auditor General. And the law grants the Auditor General that authority.
So the question could be, why didn't he go back to 2006? Maybe that's when we started, say, a functioning democracy.
Maybe we could find the Auditor General contact for him, because I just said that was within his purview to do that. But I can tell you, beyond the audit,
is it that what he saw based on the previous assessment is what informed the decision?
Well, I can
or based on the House's conversation with the Auditor General?
Gentlemen, I can speak for the Auditor General. The law exclusively gives the Auditor General the right to decide the scope of the audit, the time of the audit, the period of the audit, and everything. So it's not me or the Houses to decide, right? It is for the Auditor General. He has decided, maybe we should ask him. Now, the leadership of the House, Honour Speaker Kuhn, had already decided to establish an internal audit secretariat at the House. Okay. Every spending entity, maybe not every, because the legislature is not one, but every spending entity of government should have an internal audit department, right? Yeah. The House doesn't have that. Wow. But they're spending government money, right? So who checks,
the transactions, whether they are validated
before they are spent? Because again, if we're setting up benchmarks at the internal audit level, it makes it easier to do external audits. We only have to invite the GSC to come and to come basically give them hard time, because it's a very tough time going to audit an institution that has been spending government money all these years without a system. Which records are you going to start looking at? It's difficult. I'm not an auditor, but I can just see that's going to be difficult, right? But if the legislature has had in place an internal audit system,
there are just few concerns, gentlemen. Sorry. There's just a little delay, about a second, 2 delay. So I think you can understand we've been struggling with that, but it's not very far from where the comments start. There are few questions I want to ask. It might smell like I'm going to take you back, but I want to simplify the conversation. One, for the commoners out there, Vesely, is it that the House have agreed for an audit in totality, meaning the lawmakers there headed by Speaker Richard Nangbeku have said that we have agreed to the audit, because it seemed over time like the House did not want an audit. Does it look like this is the Speaker's position or decision, and the rest they have not agreed, or collectively they've all agreed to say we want to be audited? That question number one. Number two is that the scope of the audit that you mentioned, you were quite implicit that it is the prerogative of the GSC to determine the scope of the audit. Now, with that said, did the House, the representatives say, no, you should only audit us during a specific period under review, or you can audit us from whenever that you choose to audit us is within your purview?
Okay, I got both questions. So I'll start with question number one. Question number one was, has the House agreed?
Yeah, the lawmakers, or is this a decision just from Speaker Richard Kuhn to the GSC, or is a unanimous, decision that GSC come and do this?
Well, I don't know how possible it would have been if it had been an individual decision from the speaker.
Okay.
Well, it was a decision from leadership,
Okay.
taken to plenary,
Okay.
and endorsed.
Okay.
So yes, it is a decision by the House of Representatives, to be audited, and to get the House to accept to be audited. I mean, we know how difficult it has been in the past. That's why we need to give it up for the speaker, because under his leadership, he's been able to convince his colleagues that, I mean, if we are to be the kind of oversight institution that we should be, then we ourselves must live up to the standard. So to convince his colleagues that accountability and transparency have to be the hallmark of what we do here is a plus. Other speakers in times past have not been able to convince their colleagues. Hence we have not had an order of the legislature. So yes, the House has agreed to be audited.
Okay.
That's very important to stress. Secondly, Kevin asked whether, given that it is the Auditor General's prerogative to decide the scope of the audit, whether the House had to inform you, okay, we'll only accept for you to audit us this time. Okay, I'll read section 2.1.3d of the C and D of the Houses of the General Auditing Commission 2014 Act. C says the Auditor General shall have the right to determine which audits are to be carried out, to select the type of audit, when to carry them out, and report the findings. That's the Auditor General's prerogative. D says, in the performance of his or her operational duties, the Auditor General shall not be subject to the direction or control of any person or authority. So, hinging on these provisions of the Act, it's pretty obvious that the House could not subject the Auditor General to when or what period they had to be audited. Once they had accepted to be audited, that was their starting point. It was the prerogative, and is the prerogative of the Auditor General to determine which period, what type of audit, and all of that. That is left to the AG. So today, as a matter of fact, at 9 o'clock this morning, we'll have the entry meeting. The entry meeting, and of course the auditors listening will know what an entry meeting is. So it's basically an acceptance meeting.
Official ceremony.
Yeah, just a small official ceremony, formally welcoming the GSC to the House to begin its work. And after that, the House open to the GSC. Of course, they will assign the auditors to the House. They'll carry out the audit. I don't know how long this audit is supposed to last. I'm told maybe about 3 weeks to a month. And then after that, the GSC will, of course, come out with its findings, publish its findings to the public, and then we move on from there. But the big news is that the House of Representatives, finally, after all these years, will be subjected to some form of audit. That's the biggest news we've brought to this platform this morning.
Okay, Vesely Sumo, Communications Advisor to House Speaker Richard Nangwe-Kun is our guest. Kelvin is in the U.S. Arthur and I are here. Let's go back to a few issues. Maybe then we can see if we can interact with the public. I mean, most time when people hear audit, it's the kind of thing where they look for somebody who is, an alleged rogue, something missing somewhere, somebody take the kind of money and all of that. I mean, is that the kind of thing we're going to see, or this one is purely system and control?
Yeah, system and control would be a better word to use, because, look, have people stolen money from the Liberian people through the legislature? I mean, from an ordinary citizen point of view, I would shout a mighty yes, because that's how it appears, right? That over the years, monies have gone through the legislature unaccounted for. Now, if nobody is accounting for the money, it's safe to say that somebody has been stealing it. It's easier to say, right? So when we hear audit, we think somebody has been stealing, come and catch them.
Come catch a rogue.
But sometimes it's not necessarily about catching the rogue. Maybe they have stolen, and maybe the time it will take us to go and check who stole what, and all of that, it'll take us a long time. But while we're still putting money into that place. So for me, the best thing to do while we're looking for those who have been stealing the money is to put in place measures so that people don't continue to steal the money. That is the mindset. So we all should welcome an audit of the legislature because it is the beginning of ensuring that we don't continue with this long haul of monies going to the capital unaccounted for, right? So we start putting in place checkpoints now. And then while the checkpoints are put in place, then we start going back and say, okay, let's look back at who really been eating the money, given that we have the systems now. So for me, I think this audit will be basically about putting systems and control in place, right? And then we can move on while we look back at finding ways to catch, if possible, those who have been responsible for mismanaging.
There was a specific comment you made about. I hope I got the name correct. I was listening. You mentioned about an entry meeting, a form of a ceremony, official ceremony at 9 o'clock today. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that entry meeting today going to pronounce or announce the types of audit or the type of audit that should be conducted? Should we expect an outcome of that kind of pronouncement today?
Yeah, the Auditor General will be present at this small ceremony, and I'm sure he will be clear as to the scope of the audit, the kind of audit, how long it will last, when do we expect findings, and all these details. So yeah, it will be public, by the way, so I'm hoping that the public can follow, so the public can understand what exactly the kind of audit will be like.
So the media will be invited. You're coming.
And maybe to take us back a little, I don't know whether you want to get into that. During the conversation about an audit of the House of Representatives under Speaker Original, were there oppositions or were there dissenting views? And if there were, you tell us what were the positions and who were they?
No, Kelvin, the news about an audit of the House hasn't been met with the warmest receptions by lawmakers. They may have their reasons. I can't sit here and say which lawmakers objected to the audit. Right? What I can say is that the fact that the House in its majority has accepted, it means all of them have accepted. You know, the House works through plenary. The decision making of the House comes through plenary. So what plenary has decided, they have decided. Whoever dissented, whoever opposed, well, that's behind us now. They have to be a part of what the House has decided. So yeah, the House has decided. The AG will announce the scope of the audit. It will be open to the public. I'm sure the media is invited. Robert Haynes, who is the director of press at the House, is on top of that. And the public will be duly informed about everything surrounding this audit of the House of Representatives. You want to come in?
Yeah, I wanted to say many would think
Public critics, because this whole issue about auditing the House has been a back and forth fight. One would say this system review audit is just a picture to drive away from the me audit process to understand over the years the House of Representatives have been given government funds or public funds and they use it and they haven't been able to account for it. And after the system audit, no one knows as to when we will see a full financial audit that should tell us from 2006 or probably since post-war how much the legislature has been able to use over the years and what has been the impact of it.
So I thought, like I said, all of us want the House to account, not only the House, but every spending entity of government to account for the money that's given it, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a situation where this institution has not been audited for God knows how long. Now, do we want to continuously sit and hope that one day will come that we will finally have them audited? We don't want to keep hoping. We want actions. This leadership of the House of Representatives has decided, let's begin to take action. This is step one. It's a very small step. It's a baby step to a full-fledged financial audit of the House of Representatives. To audit the House, if you're an auditor now, we took you, carry you to the House of Representatives, go do a financial audit of that House, my brother, you will get lost. Because, like I said previously, there are no systems, proper financial systems in place. Automated financial systems that you can just click a button and see all transactions for this period to this period. No. Somebody will have to hand you a big file. Say, okay, this is 2022, this is 2024, this is 2025. By the time, you probably take 6 months going through one of them because we're talking numbers here. So, this audit, the scope of this audit, in the wisdom of the Auditor General, will be the first step to determining how we can audit fully the financial records of this House over a longer period. So yes, if the Auditor General decides, okay, we'll do a full-fledged financial audit now, it's within his wisdom. But I want to think that what we may have going on over the next couple of weeks at the House will be a system audit, that puts in place systems or that recommends systems to be put in place that will pave the way for a full-fledged financial audit in the future.
This is the Prime Morning Drive on Prime FM 105.5. It's a three-man team. Kelvin Demi is in the U.S., Ato and Lara here. Vesely Sumo, communications advisor to House Speaker. Richard Nambwe Kun is our guest. Shortly, we'll open the lines if you want to interact with Vesely. 086 050 057 0886 050507 0779 460 793 or as an alternative 0776 236 528. There's only two concerns and then maybe we'll go to the lines. It appears Speaker Kun is governing section with an iron fist. He has thrown so far 2 lawmakers out of section, Tao Wongwe and Representatives Tao Wongwe and Yeke Koluba. And then there's this rumor about another legislative coup with the Deputy Speaker.
Yeah, that terrain is a fairly new terrain. So I'm trying to cope with the fact that, every day something comes up. Every day, right? And you have to deal with that. I'll deal with the Deputy Speaker, the alleged or the rumored the rumored plot to remove the Deputy Speaker. Well, for as long as those group of people are up Capitol Hill, there will always be rumors. There will.
But sometimes those rumors keep coming, and at the final analysis, we arrive at a reality that something is on there.
Well, that's how politics is. And they say, where there is smoke, there is fire. But I can tell you for free that there was no smoke anywhere. So there is no fire anywhere. All those rumors about the planned removal of the Deputy Speaker were all just misconceptions. Somebody sat somewhere and just fabricated.
But there is this disagreement with the Deputy Speaker proceedings.
Every time there are 2 politicians in a room, you should expect disagreements. In this case, we're talking about 73 in one room. There will be multiple of disagreements.
And dissatisfaction.
And dissatisfaction, disenchantments. That's the nature of politics. Everybody will not always agree. It's not possible. So the fact that there are 73 persons, most of them with different interests.
Don't you think it's building up to such?
No, there's nothing building up. Look, if there's something building up the legislature, I'll be honest with you. I like to take the position of Gabriel Nyeka, who likes to say, let's be honest with the conversation. I'll be honest with you to tell you there are disenchantments. There are issues, but they are being worked on. In this case, I'm saying the issues were never about the Deputy Speaker and his position being questioned. Yes, there were issues, like there always will be. But, when you see people targeting or saying, the Deputy Speaker, maybe because they feel that it is the Deputy Speaker's position to resolve those issues. So if the issues are not being resolved, then people say, they put targeting the Deputy Speaker. No, but that's not the case. In my thinking, there is harmony at the legislature. The lawmakers are working together. Yes, there will always be issues, but there is absolutely no plot whatsoever. Somebody say people got 40 signatures, people have 40 signatures, but now we're talking everything. But there's no plot to remove the deputy speaker. There's no plot to remove the deputy speaker. Deputy speaker enjoys the confidence of his colleagues, as far as I know. And so does he enjoy the confidence of the speaker, full confidence of the speaker.
Speaker Kuhn, just on the back of Danisha's question about Speaker Kuhn in handling of issues arising from plenary and the outburst from his colleagues from the floor, and his emotion in handling, in addressing his approach in addressing these issues has become a concern in the public, and his utterances and the choice of words used towards his colleagues becoming a concern.
Yeah, I get that. I get that the public is concerned, that the speaker appeared emotional, in plenary on last Tuesday, when he threw Mr. Wombe and Yakakoluba out of session. Well, but I'll put that down to regular parliamentarian bickering. Now, somebody says, why would the speaker say something like,
if you think you rule,
I
rule more than
you and those kinds of things. Somebody say, the speaker is supposed to be way up there. He's supposed to be
exercise restraint.
Yeah. Look, the speaker is not a standard bearer of the legislature. No, he's not. The speaker is the first amongst equals. All 73 lawmakers at the House of Representatives are supposed to bear the standard for the House of Representatives. Not one man. All 73 of them. The same way, the same energy we're putting into attempting to criticize the speaker for his quote-unquote emotional outburst, we should every day, as much as possible, call out those lawmakers and make it their business to, that's the right way to put it, to disturb plenary. It's almost like we've all gotten used to seeing Representative Koluba behave the way he behaves. Have we gotten numb to it? Have we chosen to accept that it is what he will do? We should accept it. And if somebody reacts to it, then we take it up on the person because the person is supposed to accept his behavior. Look, the behavior from Representative Koluba is unacceptable. Let's call it spade, right? It's unacceptable.
Can the speaker
it appears like he basically goes there to do all the time. And you're saying now that the speaker should find a way to pinpoint him, to accept him. You're saying it's
to reach out to him,
how?
To understand what's the issue, to listen to him, even listen here.
If Representative Koluba got more votes during the elections than Speaker Koluba, more people decided to vote Representative Koluba. He has a responsibility to those people, more people than the speaker has. He goes to session all the time and brings up some disturbances all the time. And rather than us as the public or you as journalists taking it up on him consistently, and maybe putting a media blackout on him is possible because his action clearly goes against what a lawmaker should stand up for. We are now taking it up on the people who are reacting to his actions. That's unfair. That's grossly unfair.
Maybe the concern is, and it is likened to this Liberian parable that you're taking bath and a mad man or mad person comes, remove the cloth from the bathroom and you run after the person. Maybe that's the comparison people are.
If we're using that parable, as the basis for this conversation, which I wouldn't want to do because I wouldn't want to equate or liken the Koluba to the bad man. But, his actions clearly depict that. So we're saying that when all 73 lawmakers go to session and sit down, this one lawmaker, because the public has accepted, has the right to wake up and disturb. And when he does that, the speaker, who is just the presiding officer in session, should find a way to pepper him, call him and say, "My man, don't disturb the place." Give him flowers and no.
Listen to him. What's the issue? Find a way to.
Has there been a time? Well, let's give all of us.
If you don't give him listening, they're angry.
Even the public listening. Nobody who covers the legislature or follows legislative proceedings can argue that the speaker has not been giving any lawmaker the time regardless of their position. Representative Koluba severally have been given the opportunity to express himself. The funny thing about it is that he only thrives when the place is noisy. If the place gets quiet and you recognize him, you only speak. In fact, you only raise his hand if the place is quiet. By the time the place gets noisy, then his voice becomes the loudest. So he can't argue that he hasn't been recognized. Has he raised a communication that has not been put on the floor? He can't argue that.
He preparing a bill impeachment for the Chief Justice?
Has he done that? He brought it to the speaker and was
The
not put on
Speaker
the floor?
office and the Speaker.
Has he done that? Did he come to the public and say, I wrote the communication? Yeah, he said there's a copy at the speaker's desk and it was not put on the agenda. Has he done that? No, not under the speaker. He has never done that. So he does it purposefully to come to session and disturb. Now, you say when he comes, the speaker should sit and watch him when he gets through what he wants to do, then before the speaker continues to. No, the speaker has to take some radical actions. I tell you the difference. When the speaker did that on Tuesday, on Thursday, before the sitting, the only issue in session on Thursday was when the very representative Koluba came to session with a face cap, which is clearly against the rules of the House. The rules of the House.
Just purpose.
Yes, has clearly outlined what you should wear to go to plenary sitting. Representative Koluba went to sitting with a face cap. That is unacceptable. His colleague called him out. They said, remove the face cap.
But others
He made it a big issue.
I've seen others wearing the traditional hat.
Because it is acceptable. The rules of the House clearly define what attire you should wear. And wearing a traditional hat is acceptable. Okay. But you don't wear a face cap to session. He did that. And he did it on purpose because as soon as the colleague called him out, he made some noise about it, he removed it. And the House got quiet. You will be saying that every day we should wait until the Bianca Koluba episode is ended before the House can continue to do business. That is unfair. And that's very unfair to all the colleagues.
So Vesely, I mean, we're running out of time. Kevin, if you're there and you got some concern, we've got 3 minutes to be here. But the thing is, and don't get me wrong, I'm not justifying for what Representative Koluba, does in session. My thing is, it's just a labyrinth parable. Okay, let him just take the club. I'm taking bath. I can run after him. Let him carry. I will bring new glove, put it to the bathroom, and just take bath instead of running after him to get the glove. Maybe that's just let's leave him to behave the way he chooses.
Let me paint a picture of the problem we find ourselves in with this situation. The House runs per quarter, right? Mm-hmm. They're in the 10th final quarter of the year. They're supposed to debate the budget during this quarter, amongst other things. Mm-hmm. They should be here for basically 8 weeks. Mm-hmm. Of those 8 weeks, there are 2 sitting days per week. So that's 16 days. Mm-hmm. If we don't have any holiday following on any of these days, we take it at 16.
Correct.
Even though the first Thursday in November
is a holiday.
So that takes away, that's 15 now. Mm-hmm. And maybe who knows whether another holiday will fall or any of the sitting days. But it's 15 days. Mm-hmm. If Representative Koluba comes and disturbs the session for 5 of those 15 days, we only left with 10. I mean, this man is taking away from the people. And it's sad to see other, lawmakers, attempting to join him simply because they have political disagreements with, the speaker or whoever it is. It's unfortunate. Look, the Liberian people sacrifice a lot to keep 73 persons up there to make decisions on their behalf. You and I, with our meager salaries, have to pay taxes. Mm-hmm. Those people benefit from those taxes more than you and me. I mean, and they only have these few days to do our work. And then they go there and we see one of them. All he does is find a way to disturb when they should be doing our work. That's very unfair to us. We should be taking it up on him. I mean, his constituents should be taking it up on him. All of us Liberians, the media has a key role to play. It hurts, I'll be honest with you, it hurts me as a journalist to see that there are journalists prepared to follow him everywhere he goes because they think he makes the news. And I mean, as an individual, I tell you the truth, as a journalist, I would never, absolutely, until he decides to shift from that way of having conversations with the public, I would never provide for it.
But if he receive genuine issues, the journalists, of course, will publish it.
Genuine
but
issues.
if, for example, he's really inventive and profane languages uses, then of course, the journalists can say, okay, we will take that off, or we'll do a blockage.
But I mean, let's be honest, Ato. We're all here. We all hear everything that Representative Kuluba has to say. Which media is he using? He's using the media. People, there are journalists there providing coverage on their different online televisions. Every time, it's really effective. Some people, the journalists are there, and they're asking him questions. In fact, they enjoy him doing it. I can't wait for the day when the president of Liberia has that authority to properly, checkmate media institutions and do it. We have a role to play. Honestly, look, if the media was doing this job as adequately as it should, Representative Kuluba would have changed his course of action. He would have changed by now. We have found a better way to have conversations with the public. But the media is providing the platform. That's why he's able to say the things. All I can say is that the speaker will try. When you listen to the speaker says all the time that we'll change this house. We will change this house. Even in plenary, he says that we'll change the house. The speaker decided that effectively last week, the session will start 10 o'clock. That's according to their rules. The session should start 10 o'clock. Over time, the session will start 11, 12, based on how many lawmakers are around. The speaker has decided the session will start effectively 10 o'clock. He said it on Thursday. On Tuesday. On Thursday, session started 10:02. There were lawmakers, over 40 of them, in session before 10:15. Previous day, lawmakers will be trying to come. They will have to send a sergeant at arms to go and call them. Now, everybody knows that the speaker has decided the session will start 10 o'clock. If you want your voice to be heard, if you want to talk about the issues concerning your constituents, you have to be there. So yes, we're trying to make some changes. It will be difficult. Yes, I understand the speaker becoming emotional because he's a human being too. And like I said, he's not a standard bearer of the House of Representatives. He's just another lawmaker who happens to be the first amongst them. So we can use him and say, okay, you are the standard of the House. No. The standard of that house has to be kept by all 73 persons. And the speaker, who is their leader, has to use that level to engage with them so that they understand, well, fine, that's regular parliamentary bickering. It has happened, it has passed, there's no issue. The speaker continues to lead. The most important issues are at the forefront. And we're seeing a better legislature on the speaker's gavel.
All right. Calvin, anything before we let Vesely go and usher in our next guest?
This is
I don't know where you monitoring from this.
Your line is bad.
Are you getting me?
Yeah.
Are you
You have to be still.
Yeah, your line is cracking, but I think we can let Vesely go. Vesely, any final word before we let you go? Is 3 minutes after 9 o'clock. Our next guest should be usher in. Any final word before we let you go?
Yeah, so finally, the House of Representatives has agreed to an audit. Just about now, the entry meeting is being held at the House. We expect
before Vesely leaves.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, give me a pause.
Am I okay now?
Yeah. Better.
Yeah, I think the problem is with Tio's phone. Maybe we got to get Tio a new phone. So it's not the problem. But I've been asking a lot of questions, so that's part of the disadvantage of being overseas, But a very good show, I think, presented very well by Vesely. There were lots of questions, but because of time, I can't. The only thing I can insert is that Vesely was alive in the media on that very show behind those very microphones when on countless occasions we spoke to current representative Yeke Koluba, and I thought a bit of an accolade in referencing those engagements would have been appropriate. Of course, we didn't do a blackout on him, but literally we mentioned that we were not going to report the invectives. So in a way, that should have been referenced, I thought. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, as much as there are media, don't call them institutions, media persons with online phones following Representative Kuluba everywhere he goes, there are a few media institutions who are doing their best to sort of filter some of the messages that he posts out in the public. And again, I mean, he's a lawmaker, he's a colleague to my boss. I don't intend to denigrate him, but I mean, I speak here as a Liberian, and all of us should, hold our bosses, hold our lawmakers accountable for the kind of standard that is set as public officials. In closing, the current leadership of the House of Representatives is prepared and opened for accountability and transparency. Under this leadership of the House of Representatives, the people of Liberia will see a different house. They will see a house that is prepared to set the standard for what the legislature should look like. We can take that. I'll find another time when we can come and talk more about things happening at the House. There are several good things happening at the House of Representatives under the Speaker's watch, on his leadership, but we'll find time to come and talk about it. I appreciate the time you've given me today, and we look forward to more of these engagements.
All right, that's Vesely Sumo, Communications Advisor to House Speaker Richard Nambekun. He's been our guest on the first segment. We'll take a quick break to usher in our next guest. That's Senator Abraham Darius, Dillon, Montserrado County Senator. He will be our guest on the second segment. We talk a number of burning issues, the audit report, the work permit, plenty things to talk about. Let's go for this quick musical break, and we come back, we do the final segment.
I don't mind if you want to give me, I won't refuse it. I don't mind. I don't mind if you want to give me, I won't refuse it. I don't mind. I don't mind if you want to give me, I won't refuse it. I don't mind. I don't mind if you want to give me, I won't refuse it.
I hope I'm not live with my mate.
No, not live.
My mate is being live on the radio.
I don't know the track, the title of this music, but it looks like the senator knows it because I saw him. He was nodding. This is the Prime Morning Drive on Prime FM 105.5. Time check, 12 minutes after 9 o'clock. It's a team of 3 persons. Kelvin Demi in the States, Arthur and Lara here. We want to welcome the senator. Senator, good morning and welcome to the Prime Morning Drive.
Good morning. Kevin Odu.
Yeah, Kevin is there.
Good morning, Darius. Good morning to listeners on Prime FM in Liberia. Good day to our people on the social media, wherever you are. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. I'm happy to be here. Give God the glory.
Great. How was your weekend?
Well, we're here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the week got off to a good start.
Yes. And, when you're passionate about working, a brand new week presents brand new opportunities to make some difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this program is being relayed on a number of online televisions. Towards the end of the show, we'll announce them and give them their due credit. But it's also live on our Facebook page. That's Prime FM Monrovia 105.5, and also on the Facebook page of the senator as well. Let's start off this conversation with the domestic debt. Okay, I got all the lists here. I'll read them towards the end of the show or in the middle. But let's start off with domestic debt. You've been a long advocate, for a clarity, to where are we as a country and people on domestic debt.
But that you didn't allow me to say hi to the senator?
No, don't say hello to me.
Good morning, Senator Dillon.
Good morning, Kelvin. How you doing there in the United States?
Yeah.
So let's hear from you.
Very fine.
Good.
Okay, let's hear from you now. Finally, the General Auditing Commission has released the domestic debt audit, putting us or giving us feedback as to where we are. But of course, there are controversies. Opinions are split down the middle. Where are you?
Thank you, Darius. My young colleague, what's your name?
Arthur.
Arthur. Mm-hmm. Thank you, everybody. Look, we raised this issue about 4 years ago, and every year thereafter. As a senator, every time we receive the national budget, we have a duty to scrutinize the budget, to make appropriate appropriations to sectors in our governance structure. And I spotted the interest of the government, which is a good thing, to pay domestic debt or to vendors or people or institutions that provide goods and services to the country through the government. And then good, responsible institutions, including or especially the government, must be responsible enough to pay debt for goods and services provided by entities. In fact, it is part of the recurrent expenditure of government that can keep the wheel, the engine of the economy turning. Domestic debt comes from goods and services provided to the government by laid down rules. So a company, whether a foreign or local company, contracted to do a road, maybe one community road, and it was out to be paid last year, and they were not paid under the budget last year. It goes into domestic debt for the following budget year. I call domestic debt.
Okay.
On Independence Day, for instance, the catering company or entity or one person who will cater to the event, who is not paid by the contracting entity for the Independence Day or any national occasion. The person or the company that that cater to the event in terms of refreshment and other things. If they are not paid that year, it goes to domestic debt for the following year. The entity that makes chairs, for instance, for public schools through the Ministry of Education, that is not paid on the budget year when the chairs were, made, that payment goes to the following budget year. We call it domestic debt. I just give you small examples. Okay. So, and every country, every government owes vendor because people are contracted and some people will pre-finance, some entities will pre-finance, and government pays later after performance, after delivery of the goods and or services. So paying domestic debt is not a crime. Okay. It is not against good governance. Okay. In fact, it makes good governance and it helps the economy to keep turning. But when payment of domestic debt, which is or should be a priority, becomes fishy and clouded in lack of transparency and accountability, that's a red flag. Especially by the authorities that have the mandate to pay people. When you can't tell who you're paying, why you're paying, is a red flag. So by 2021, I spotted that we have, I think, $64 million in the budget. 64 or $84 million in the budget. 84 in the budget for domestic debt. The following year, 2022, 84 million. Then I'm asking, who are we paying? The following year, another 84, $69 million, reaching almost 200 to 300 million from the fiscal autumn. It's a red flag. How we're not paying many things. We get money, to fund many things, hospital, this and that. How can we get money to be paid to message that who we're paying? I raised a red flag. But at that time, people saw it as politics. The government of the day saw me as the target. The Dillon mayor, he exposing us too much, he's a target. 2023 coming, he causing trouble for us. It was not about the politics because the record can show that in 2024, last budget year, President Walker's budget, the initial budget submitted of $41 million to keep the government running until the proper budget was submitted. On the record, I voted no on the budget because former Minister Obama Kamara had not submitted the budget, the domestic debt list on time, as I have always agitated and requested, demanded under the CDC government, for which I was on the record voting against those budgets because in my video were not clear. So, what are the issues now? Thankfully, the GSC has audited. The GSC says one category of the audit, the government has paid over 200 million to vendors that the government says provided goods and services. We are going to push for the relevant agencies of government, including the LACC and the Ministry of Justice, to investigate what are those persons or institutions that received illegal entities and what kind of services they provided, or whether they are bogus. If investigation should prove that they are bogus, we will put for their prosecution, including those who dole that money out. The second category, the GSC says, it is advising or recommending to the government not to pay claims made by people in the amount of 704 million US dollars. Don't pay, because during our audit process, these claims could not be verified. Now we gotta be careful that because they were not verified during the audit process does not mean they cannot be verified subsequently. Okay? But the GSC advice is, that man say he need on the list. He say, for instance, he the one constructed the road. But when we ask, either he didn't come and to prove, or the road what he say he did, he can show document.
The contract he
signed, who signed it, when, whether he went through the proper thing or other thing. So government, you don't pay the unverified claims. If it remains unverified, it saves the country of 704 million US dollars. Domestic debt, we pay, we must pay, but we must pay to legitimate agencies and persons who actually provided goods and services. In fact, we want to further push. If your name on our list for road construction, and we give you contract to do road, water feeder road, and we're supposed to be paying you while the road is damaging, we want to know what kind of road you actually face. Because imagine we're paying you for something that already damaged. What a quality that was put into it, and all that kind of stuff. So these are some of the things in keeping with our oversight responsibility to push for accountability and transparency in our governance system. And that's why I've been raising the red flag. But in the country, apparently would like history rather than present time. When we're pushing this thing, it appeared like I just wanted to have talking point. I saw something. I felt something as a public official. I was not an advocate also and looking for attention. I was seated as senator, presiding over the budget, saw something.
You saw it as a conduit of corruption.
If bogus entities are there, it's corruption. And people who receive as bogus entity, if there will be any, that's corruption, that's fraud, that's grounds for prosecution without favor or fear. Yes.
Senator, it appears to me that this very GSC, I mean, we must commend them for the comprehensive audit report. I've been reading through it, but they did another report in 2022 on the same domestic debt. The first one was from January 1, 1980 to December 31, 2022. And then another one they did the same January 1, 1980 to December 31, 2024. I mean, two audit reports on the domestic debt. I mean, what are the readings you've gotten from the two reports?
The two reports, as it's been alleged, carry almost the same principle. We want to see whether we are abusing public funds.
Okay.
We want to see whether people taking advantage of loopholes.
Okay.
Say, for instance, when in 2022, they brought the 2022 budget with the fiscal outturn for 2021. Fiscal outturn in the budget means the actual amount,
The actual expenditure.
the actual amount government say raised and spend.
Yeah.
So if you put $84 million in the budget projection
To pay
for 2021 to pay for
domestic
debt, in 2022, when if you have $84 million in fiscal outturn, it means that $84 million you projected in 2021, you actually raise it and spend it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And pay. That is when it appears in the outturn. So once it appears in the outturn, it means you finish paying. You raise the money and you finish paying. So then you bring me 2022 budget. Where is the list of 2021? You finish paying, it means you know who you paid.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand?
Sure.
Where is the list? And if you project another $84 million, then it means you already know who you were paying.
Recipients. Yeah. Okay.
You understand? And sometimes, Councillor Gu, most of the time used to teach us that.
You mean the late TC Gu?
Yeah, TC Gu. Normally, I don't say the late TC Gu because when I'm talking about TC Gu and Charles Bromsky, I don't put late because once some of us are alive, they are living by some means.
Their vision, yeah.
Okay? TC Gu gave me national life. That one.
Undebated.
Yeah. Anytime the name TC Gu is mentioned, it brings some emotions in me. So I don't see him as late once I'm alive. Okay. So, TC Gu used to tell us, especially me, openness and transparency is the best defense for truth.
Okay.
It saves you explanation. It saves you speculation and rumor. Once you open and transparent. So what do I mean? If you give me a list this year to pay domestic debt, Tanisha's material entity is there for $100 last year. Your fiscal auditor says you raise the money, you spend it. It means Tanisha material entity received $100 on last year's budget.
Sure.
This year, Tanisha material entity is there for $100. The first thing somebody who will see that kind of list will think it's duplication. Will speculate it is duplication. Right? Why you pay Tanisha material $100 he entity now last year and he entity here again, this year again for another $100. If you don't explain that, somebody can already conclude, without, second thought, that something wrong. Why if the original list carried Tanisha material entity that government owing $200? And this year, last year, government pay 100, and so this year, government coming clearing, right? If you don't explain it, you leave room for speculation and rumor and even to cast aspersion. Or maybe Tanisha material entity was actually owed $100, government paid last year, and this year list, inadvertently they put it there. So then, if that list is made public or transparent to especially stakeholders who are supposed to determine on the budget, when we ask this question, then maybe you say, Muda wanted a mistake because it has to be duplicated. But if you had in a list for us, you made a list rather than personal property, that taboo, only when the list comes out, sometimes audit show that some names, some people, they're clean, they're making, they don't pass no supporting document, then you create this air of corruption over your character, and then it just generally casts the expression on everybody. And in my own government, in fact, we were just in Washington, D.C., I was telling Minister Gafuma, the budget for next year that is supposed to be submitted at the end of this month or early November, it better be accompanied by domestic debt list. Or else, you will hear from me.
This is the
so it was not a target on the George Weah government. It was an attempt, intent, and effort as a public official to save the country from spending money where.
Yeah. Daniel, before you come in, Senator, the GSC done its work. It comes to the legislature.
Yeah,
Kelvin?
Danishas,
yeah, you live.
The GSC done its work.
Kelvin, are you there? You live. You just tune off. I mean, I think you should be monitoring by.
You get me?
Yeah, you should be monitoring from a laptop so that there's not interference.
Delay, so maybe I don't need to listen to the live. Am I okay now?
Yeah, I think you can just monitor direct instead of doing the live.
Yeah, sure. So again, good morning, Senator Dillon.
Yes, sir.
The bottom line of all of these things here are that the monies, there's something is wrong with the way we appropriate our money, the way we expend our money, and the bottom line of all of these reports, I know it's an allegation, it is alleged, we should be investigated, but is that the right things are not being done. We have an institution like the GSC that is responsible to conduct audit. The findings are published. In previous years, and even up to present, we want to give you the accolade. We want to appreciate you for, the loud Murphy talking about, highlighting about the need for an audit and the reports that are just, sitting on the desk and the with dust all on them. A lot of persons perceive that, well, because you were not a friend to the previous regime, so those words were just on deaf ear. Now you are close to the powers that be. We are like 2 years, and you're still trumpeting the need for an audit and the outcome of the audit to be looked into. All of the things we're talking, all of the things you're talking, that Liberians are interested in what will be done with these audits. You are close to the president. You are close to the power. Now you are one of the influencers. What's your official position on all of what's happening?
My official position
What's
is
done?
my official position and something I'm going to push for. The list will have to be reviewed by the Ministry of Justice and or the LACC to determine criminal culpability where applicable for prosecution, and to also clear people's name from the speculation that everybody who receives domestic debt receives it on a dubious means. Mm-hmm. Criminal investigation will determine whether people were bogus on that list and they receive, and will prosecute for restitution. And going forward, our own government, the domestic list came this year. So the Senate, the House of Representatives will pass a budget. This coming budget year, we will
And how
need.
seriously does this government take it from the corridors of power? How seriously does this government take it?
As seriously as I'm talking, and as seriously as I sound, and as seriously as I'm speaking to you, this matter. You know what it means for investigation or report to say don't pay 700 million because on verified claim?
That's almost the whole budget.
It's almost the whole national budget that people have been claiming in the name of domestic debt. If it's a little over a quarter of the budget that have been paid off in the name of domestic debt, and if over 200 million was paid off in the name of domestic debt, and criminal or forensic investigation, further investigation, can show proof that half of that money or a portion of that money was paid off on a bogus means, those people must be held accountable. And they will and must be held accountable.
But how soon is the legislature or the Senate to verify through the Public Accounts Committee and all of that to come up with proposals of recommendation, probably from the GAC or so, to the President or the Minister of Justice or the Judiciary to take prompt actions?
Let me say this. And thankfully, I am a member of the PAC.
In the Senate.
Yeah, the Public Accounts Committee.
Yeah.
In the Senate. Thereby making me member of the joint PAC. Of the legislature of both houses.
Yeah.
My president and the Minister of Justice and LACC should not even wait on us from the legislature to do public hearing or the report.
Okay.
The law requires and mandates the GAC to report the outcome of any audit to the legislature and the presidency.
Okay.
The one that is reported or submitted to the presidency, anything that smells impropriety, especially criminal impropriety, don't be waiting for public hearing. The public hearing is not to determine criminal liability. The public hearing by the legislature, by the PSC, is merely to determine system issues. Where it may be the GAC itself even overlook certain things, and the auditee can come and clarify. And then the appropriate recommendation to fix the system can be made. or where we believe, because we don't have the authority as a legislative body to directly prosecute, then we recommend to the executive for criminal prosecution. But who is best suited to sight, spot, smell, taste, feel criminal impropriety? It's the executive, especially through the Ministry of Justice and the LACC. The publication, the receipt of the audit report should get these two institutions already into motion.
This is the Prime Morning Drive on Prime FM 105.5. Kelvin is in the U.S. Ato and Ala here. Senator Darius Dillon is our guest. Senator, let's go to the second talking point. Work permits. You've been again one of the probably the lead campaigner for work permits. And Liberians can do jobs that foreigners are doing. The Minister of Labor, Councillor Cooper Crow, was someone. He presented a report. Where are we now with work permit? Is all done and dusted now?
Tanisha.
Yes, sir.
In 2019, in fact, in 2018, President George Weah's administration did something that never happened to this country since 1847.
What is it?
They paved the Dole Community Road.
Okay.
That was a project to make the people of Dole Community, Clareton area, and at least to give some easement to the movement. Yeah, that was a big deal. When they paved that road, it was a big deal for citizens and George Weah government. In 2019, I went for election. I contested. The residents of Dole Community walk on that road to go vote for me because they said they were jobless. Then I road they would eat. Today, I like to have this kind of conversational interview and discussion to pin my message in people's head. I don't know how many persons thought of it this way.
Okay.
Here today, even our people, for instance, rescue mission people, they peddling this thing that government official too mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It become a concern.
You're mean. You can't give. Even if you get 3%, 5% according to your capacity, the 6% you give. See, you mean. Then even the 2 or 3% you get can say, hey man, I may give me something. Maybe you buy lucky.
Everybody quiet.
Everybody, yeah. Even the money that you get. They don't want this club because maybe they want somebody to go out there too. We can do almost everything. Once that old man in the market saying the market high, the opposition will peddle that as we don't do anything. We got to be deliberate in providing jobs for our people. Gentlemen, I'm saying gentlemen to all of us in the studio here, and ladies and gentlemen in the radio land and on the social media. Plenty of jobs in the country, in the private sector. Wow. But we, the government, through the executive, the Minister of Labor, I am safely saying as a public official, Senator, we prefer selling a job, depriving Liberians for work permit fee. That nonsense will not continue.
You mean selling?
We happen to take $1,000, and yet the labor minister now say $3,000 for work permit. EAA increase the work permit fee will regenerate more money. These aliens, these foreigners can pay the work permit fee even if you put it at 10,000. You see, every time we the lawmakers, we pass laws, we pass in the law to make what they call enabling environment. Every time we ratify a concession, part of the things that inform our vote yes to pass a concession, to rectify it, is because this concession is supposed to provide 1,000 jobs in the economy. This concession is supposed to provide, or will provide 500 jobs, additional jobs in the economy. If the Minister of Labor and the government feels okay taking work permit fee for 800 of the 1,000 jobs that's going to be provided by a company or a concession, we have actually not provided 800 jobs for our people. We have provided only 200. We sold 800 for work permit. Work permit for capitals, for drivers. Go to some of the road construction area. Foreigners are there waving red and green flag to direct the traffic. Liberians can do that too. Liberians can be managers, accountants. The only profession the labor minister has now sold work permit for, that the lawyering profession. Because the Liberian law strictly says you must be a Liberian to practice law in Liberia. If that law was not there, straight jacket, you are going to sell the legal department of all these entities for work permit. Liberian lawyers will not have retainership and contract with any of these companies. And some other things, we're supposed to sit down. The people say, we are not providing jobs for them. That is why our people are agitating for jobs in government.
The pressure comes back.
The pressure comes back to us, especially the lawmakers. The people say we're there for ourselves, and we are not righteously angry to say there are more than 20,000 jobs out there that the labor minister issued work permit for, some on the record, some not on the record. 10,000 of those jobs go to Liberians in the labor market, in the private sector. The economy will change. If you take 3,000 for work permit to pay somebody $2,000-3,000 for that same job every month, take it at 1,000. Say this accounting job is 1,000. Give it to a Liberian. How much will be in this economy?
1,000.
1,000 every month.
Yeah.
Times 12. That 12,000, right?
Yeah.
Take 1,000 for that same job for work permit and give it to a non-Liberian. That means only keep full money here. The rest of the money is in their home.
Maybe pay his rent.
Pay rent, and sometimes they are experts, so their company, paying their rent. They get their housing. Take that same job that is paying 2,000-3,000. Give it to a Liberian, qualified, no partisan business. Once you qualify Liberian, whether you're from Liberty Party, whether you're not from Liberty Party, whether you're from UP, you are not from UP, whether you're from CDC, you are not from CDC. Once you are a Liberian qualified, you can drive a heavy-duty truck, a B Mountain or Western Cluster or Asla Meter looking for a heavy-duty driver. Give that job to a Liberian. Let them on and you see what happened to the economy. Our people say, we the lawmaker, we not do anything for them. Let me tell you what we put in the law. The Decent Work Act will authorize the Minister of Labor to issue regulations which has the force of law on regulating non-Liberians in our labor market. Regulation 19 issued, that is in force, issued by the Minister of Labor. And admittedly, the former labor minister that was inherited by this government and we are using, so there is no excuse.
From Councillor Charles Gibson.
Yes. The regulation says we gained its authority from the Decent Work Act. It says, before you issue work permit, so let's make it clear, no particular job discretion is restricted for Liberians. But the way we did the law, it means all jobs, Liberian first preference. It means Liberians whom and abroad have the first right of refusal.
Okay.
It's a legal, you know. When they say you have the first right of refusal, it means if an opportunity comes, you're the first to look at it. If you want it, you qualify for it, you get preference, they will give it to you. You will be the first to say, no, I don't want anything before they start looking for somebody else. Fight right of refusal.
Okay.
The one who crafted the law. And Cooper Christ is a lawyer, he knows it. The law says any job vacancy in Liberia, in the private sector, in the labor market, must first be advertised.
Okay. Put it in the newspaper. Put it
in the newspaper for 30 days. Put it on the radio for 30 days. And we went beyond, we said put it on the website, 2 Liberian websites for the same 30 days. You know why we include a website? Because it's not every Liberian qualified for a job may be resident in Liberia.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You will be living in Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Australia, America, but you stay in Liberia. You can see that vacancy on the website. You get interest in it. You qualify. You can apply from outside Liberia. Once you are a Liberian, then you apply. You qualify. The Minister of Labor will ensure that you get a job. In the law, we say if the company, because the only way a Liberian who is a driver will know that there's a job vacancy at Aslam Meter when it's advertised. Right?
Yeah.
The only way a Liberian who is an accountant will know that there's a vacancy at Fuani Brothers or at SETI. Accounting, vacancy, unless it is advertised. We went further to say, when the person or entity applying for work permit for jobs in our labor market, in order to get a work permit, you must demonstrate that you've advertised the job vacancy in keeping with the law.
Yeah, being transparent.
And being transparent. And the labor minister and the ministry will verify, and after verification, they will issue that entity a certificate that they went through the processes and they didn't find any Liberian. Or no Liberian apply, or no Liberian even apply or qualify for the job. They will issue that certificate that will give reason to give the work permit. But more besides, work permit must not be renewed every year just for the fees.
Okay.
Why did we contemplate and say work permit should be 1 year? It get left or 1 year.
Yeah.
It expire after 1 year. You know why?
No.
Because maybe this year they were looking for driver and no Liberian will qualify to drive.
Right.
Next year, then because of that, because companies come here, they need more drivers, and Liberian did not have interest in driving job because that job was not plentiful. Now, plenty of companies come in and they need more drivers. Then maybe the Liberian who did not get the opportunity last year for that job, he going to school now, driving school, he got a driver lesson, everything, he qualified now. Next year, don't renew that driver lesson for that foreigner because the Liberian is now qualified. The work permit was not intended to be renewed every year, General. It was intended to give Liberian the opportunity to advance themselves for those areas, and or the company that brought somebody to do a particular job at the time that no Liberian will qualify for, and that company is under obligation to train Liberian. So after a few years, knowledge can be transferred. How do we feel sitting in our own country? We provide the avenue for jobs, but Liberian not getting a job. No, it's not possible.
Senator Dillon.
Yeah.
Senator Dillon, these are very profound points. They're very good and profound points I mentioned, but how can this be actually verified points? I took the key in line that there are jobs available that can be. It's one thing to reflect, it is another thing to make it. So moving forward, we increase the permit. You mentioned that Because they are willing and able to pay the money. Maybe we must have achieved on that front, but how can we make this doable so that Liberians can get the job that we said?
Kevin, let me tell you something. It can be very vexing to me, very annoying, not Kevin, but at the idea that work permit fee is helping to generate revenue
for the government to operate.
Look, work permit fee.
That's having to discourage foreigners from.
Is that true? Work permit fee was $100. The police will pay. They increase it to $250. The post still pay. Gonglo came and increased it to $400. The people still pay for the work permit. Gonglo came and increased it to $1,000. The people still pay. You give it to $10,000. The people still pay. You know how the company is paying for the work permit fee? If they bringing you here, they pay upfront for you. Then they take it from your pay later on. So it's not the individual that paying the work permit fee, and the big company have the money. You understand? And some people argue that Liberian get work at the Liberians are working at the embassy can go to Western and stay there on time. When you go to the embassy, they can ask you for a small thing. No. And at the environment, Liberian working at UN in Liberia, they can go to work on time. Liberian working for companies, they can go to work on time. I, as a national leader, would never buy that foolish and lazy argument that maybe because one or few Liberians get bad working ethic, it means generally. The same way people in the media and the public can say everybody in government corrupt. I think he's going to help me for this. It's a comfortable statement in the country. Yeah, all of them corrupt. You understand? You get cast negative expression on a whole group of people because few people, are not performing to the task. You understand? So, Kevin, I do not buy.
No, that's not my point.
What's the point?
That's not my point. My point here is now that we, as in the context of the house, you Senator Dillon, is affirming that there are jobs that should be for Liberians but not given to Liberians, but instead foreigners. My point here is, how do we give back Liberians what they deserve, their jobs?
But it's simple. That's what we're doing, Kelvin. We are saying the Minister of Labor must not renew work permits for the sake of renewing it and boasting that renewing it gave us revenue in the budget. Go by the law. When the work permit expire, in fact, the last time at the Senate, we voted and communicated with the Minister of Labor through the President, the executive, that the Minister of Labor should inform every entity or persons that having work permit 3 months of the expiration that your work permit is about to expire, the likelihood it will not be renewed unless proof can be shown that their job, no Liberian is qualified for it. Get that 3 months notice. And all work permits are not issued on the same day, so all will not expire the same day. Every day, every week, every month, certain quantity of work permit expire. The Minister of Labor is ornamented and authority not to renew those work permits in the name of renewing it will get all revenue. No, work permit, we should not sell the job.
That brings the Senate oversight or the legislature oversight, particularly to ensure that it's implemented. Because if not, then the labor minister will be doing
implementation of laws, enforcement of laws are left to the function and authority of the executive. The legislature is like should be like turtle fire on a turtle's back for the turtle to move. You understand? The legislature can.
If the turtle refuse to move,
then if the turtle is not moving at all, then it means the fire will put it on the turtle's back. It's not hard enough. The legislature does not have enforcement power. We cannot issue work permit. We can demand. We can push for the non-issuance of work permit. Look, Kevin, go to B Mountain. B Mountain has, at Western Cluster, they have 100 heavy-duty drivers. 45 of them, they are Liberians. The minister made a regulation in a public hearing that we had in the Senate as a result of my demand communication that was endorsed by plenary for us to have this discussion over work permit. The Minister of Labor came and told us that's about a year now, a year ago, because this topic about work permit started since October last year.
Yeah.
On my initiative in the Senate. The Minister of Labor told us that when he went to Western Cluster, they have 100 heavy duty drivers and operators. 45 they are Liberians, 55 are non-Liberians.
Wow.
In my view, it was alarming. The minister justified that the entity got 55 heavy duty drivers or operators because they could not find 55 qualified Liberians. Okay, maybe it made sense at the time, it's possible. But you paying the 55 foreign drivers $3,000 US every month, and you paying the 45 Liberians each $600 every month, each of them. I'm coming.
Kevin, 1 minute.
They are operating the same
vehicle,
the same machine. They are operating on the same work time. What you have employed Liberian, it means they get a skill to operate that equipment, right?
Sure.
And the foreigner you employ, he got a same skill too. So why owner skill is 3,000 and Liberian owner skill pay is 600? The Minister of Labor said they will investigate 1 year now.
He has not come over a report.
Yeah. So
let me come in, please, before I lose track of this point.
Yeah.
Okay. So we had a very fine conversation at national level and in different platforms about the work permit issue, the increment of work permit. Senator Dillon has said that even if you increase it, for example, to 10,000 or 15,000. You better backtrack it to the historic side that it was 100 before, and now it is at 3,000. The foreigners are capable financially to be able to pay that money. Now, my thing here is, do we now, the law raised some very profound points. Like, for example, there are jobs that Liberians can do, but it has been given to foreigners. Do we have a tracker? Okay, we have a tracker. Let's say, for example, let's put B Mountain into perspective. What jobs are there that have been done by foreigners?
Carpentry, painting, electrical work, masonry.
Yeah.
Program, plumber.
Perfect, Senator Dillon. Then my next point is, can we now can we do a metrics on the number of foreign carpenters that they have that should now be given to Liberians that were given to Liberians?
Join me, Kevin. Let's demand this of the Minister of Labor. Join me.
Maybe we'll find time.
And not only that, we should not give the Labor Minister. And let me make it clear here. When I started this thing, I saw some press releases and statements from some of my friends and people from Nima. They say I'm targeting Nibaians. He did the same thing to Prince Johnson. Peace be to her Archie.
Now he on the job.
Look, let me be clear here. I know Kevin too from Nima. But let me be clear.
Let me say this for the record, funny but serious. I'm from Nima. But if it is true that Nibaians were saying that to Senator Dillon, that was childish.
But you didn't hear the press release from MDR and other organizations. Yeah, but sir, let me make this clear here. We led the confirmation of Cooper Craig as Minister of Labor.
You led it.
I'm a ranking member of the Labor Committee.
Okay.
I led his confirmation.
Okay.
During his confirmation hearing, I asked him about the authority and impact of work permit.
Okay.
Giving it to foreigner forces, providing the jobs for Liberians. He said when he minister, he will make sure that no work permit will be given to any non-Liberian unless no Liberian qualify. Wow. During his confirmation hearing, I said 6 months after we review this work permit issue, because plenty of job in the labor market. Go in these stores.
Yeah, I've worked in many stores.
Go in these stores.
I mean, you see,
if you have 20,000 stores across Liberia, and you have 20,000 non-Liberians as store boss, there are 20,000 jobs already. I'm telling y'all, the jobs plentiful in this country. In the labor market, we're selling it.
Skill on skill.
Skill and on skill. Plentiful. We are selling it.
So I agree.
So I told the labor minister, excuse me, Kelvin, I wanted to make this clear that when I confirm the labor minister, Cooper Cry, he was not Basel man.
Okay.
When I confirm him, he was not crew. He was from Nima. When I led his confirmation, he was from Nima, like how he from Nima, he was not Basel man from Grand Basel County. When I'm dealing with him on a performance as a minister, it can't be that because he's from Nima. I'm dealing with him because he's minister of labor and not doing the right thing. It's not because he's from Nima. No, please. We shouldn't do that to our people. And they get, and you know, God, Jesus said, forgive. They didn't know what they're doing. They put the man king of said that they didn't want to kill him, joking inside and laughing. So he said, Father, forgive. They didn't know what they're doing. I saw some jobless Liberian bringing placard in the name of defending Cooper, and you get job. I'm waiting to get job.
Let's go to the other talking point. Kevin, you want to come in quickly, and then we're running out of time.
So today, as we leave for here today, I'm hoping that it will get on the agenda.
Okay.
I'm asking the plenary of the Senate for us to go forward with this thing.
Okay.
Tomorrow, when the thing busts open, this country will understand that this red flag that we've raised and continue to raise meant a lot to the economy and the well-being of our people, the happiness of our people. Today, I'm going to ask the Senate, hopefully we can get our endorsement, that the GSC will audit the entire work permit regime.
Okay.
Work permit, get plenty things tied to it.
Okay.
In order to get work permit, you must have resident permit.
Yeah.
You must have resident status. When do you have resident status? You have resident status after you enter Liberia as a visitor, and you stay here 90 days. After 90 days, you apply for resident permit. So you apply for a resident permit, and when you get a resident permit, after the immigration have reviewed and certified that all your records, and they give you that resident status, permit status, you can now say, I want to find job. Or company can employ you by requesting for a work permit. The GSCs must audit whether most of the people who get work permit, how long they even stay here.
Wow, that's another eye opener. Let's go to the
and all the work permit issues, what LRA has record on them.
Kevin, you want to come in quickly, then we'll go to the other issue quickly.
So quickly. I just want to state here for the record that we should not. Senator Dillon made a point. He also mentioned in one of my concerns that it is the prerogative of the media to do the same. So, as part of our jobs and responsibilities, I would like to recommend that the board should not stop at just highlighting the issues about work permit, the implementing affairs, the revenue generation part of it, but I'm interested in the particular point that he raised, that should interest every Liberian, that there are lots of jobs available, but these jobs are not given to Liberians. And he highlighted the instance of tapping, truck driving, and you just name the rest of it. I look for which is a big thing for the government, which is a thing for the government to provide a tracker that, say for example, B Mountain had the total number of aided drivers, and 60 of those drivers were foreigners, and maybe 20 were Liberians. And we believe that the very jobs that they were doing, the 60 foreigners were doing, I think that Liberians could do. During the period under review, we were able to give 40 new jobs to Liberians in masonry, in carpentry, that were given to foreigners, but now given to Liberians. I look forward to that conversation in the coming months and years. How does that sound, Senator?
In fact, that should be the final conclusion. The labor minister and the labor ministry must monthly, every month, release the labor statistics for the labor market in our country. How many jobs were added this month? How many jobs lost? Why? Because some of these people, they created these jobs purposely to bring some people.
Yeah, to bring their own people.
If you will push them to get a job to Liberian, one of two things could happen. If they were paying the expert 5,000 for that job, if we have to give it to a Liberian, they might want to reduce the amount to 2,500. I would prefer for a Liberian to get $2,500 every month on a job than having nothing at all, sitting down home at all. Or some of the companies could just redundant the position. It should form part of the labor report, the statistics, monthly. We will push the Minister of Labor to issue monthly report on the labor market in this country. How many jobs we added, how many jobs we lost, and why. And the areas of concentration to encourage more Liberians and to have interest in that field so that subsequently they can get jobs too.
All right.
So I agree with you, Kevin.
All right, this is the Prime Morning Drive on Prime FM 105.5. Senator Abraham Darius Dillon of Montserrado County is our guest. Arthur and I are here. Kelvin is in the US. Senator, quickly, let's go to this other. It's 8 minutes after 10. We should be out of here by 10:30. Quickly, where is the bill on setting, salary at 5,000 for public officials? And the war on drugs and the LDE and youth team. I mean, quickly.
So sometimes I will discourage some people now with the other topic. In 2020, I submitted this bill. There are certain things require.
So it's 5 years now.
I'm coming now. There are certain things require public support. Okay. Or else then sometimes your want can sound like you just want to for people to hear you. And I mean, you just want, it requires public support and pressure. I submitted the bill for us at the legislature and ranking people in the government to make 5,000 or less monthly. It would do that with 100 of us at the legislature, both houses. We saved the country $4 million already. For me, I identify we can help the country. It will make 5,000. And I said 100 of us because the speaker, the deputy speaker, the protest are, So if 100 of us decide to make that law, that will make it 5,000, just from the legislature, that $4 million, the government will not spend for salary.
Monthly?
Annually. Then we can redirect that $4 million. When we do that, because we have the authority by law to determine how much the people in the judiciary will make, or the president and people in the executive will make, once we do that one to ourselves, we have the courage to do it to the president and people in the executive and the judiciary. Once we can start with ourselves first, a half of the reduce the other money. I put that bill on the floor in 2020 and say, they don't play in politics, you want to you something, blah, blah, blah. In fact, my man in city was fair with me. Because for that bill to pass, it means my 2020 election was going to be more possible.
I'll get more flavor.
What them Dillon man doing is fake. They put in people here. In 2024, under my own rescue government, I reintroduced the bill on the floor. The day I reintroduced the bill on the floor, so my colleague was laughing and said, "They don't talk nothing for camera. The camera be on the talk." Imagine if another lawmaker had introduced that bill on the floor for us to reduce our money. And I say, you're talking for camera, we're not reducing our money. Montserrado talk. We're going to be the news in a negative way against me. But under my own rescue government, look, a half a referee to get a record.
That's a big parable.
When a player even mistakenly keep behind a friend, the referee can get a yellow card. That same referee running on the run of play and mistakenly keep behind somebody player, one player, that mistake can get the record. It takes courage for us in government, especially legislature, to reduce our salary so the public can understand that we are sensitive to what's happening in the country. Our salary is not nothing, I talk about the amount. Chief, I will not be one of those persons who will say we need all the money because the people can beat our. No, In the people here that have money in our pocket, nobody can beat our door. One will take it from in our pocket by the law. We do the money. Chief, if the people say they don't faking you, blah, 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 let 100, all of us fake in the legislature and made it $5,000 and save the country $4 million every year. See what of that $4 million we can redirect to other sectors, what of that money will be fake. I'm challenging citizens, UP people, my own Liberty Party order, non-partisans, independent Liberians. Your challenge, all of us in the legislature to be fake, let me on the salary thing, let me reduce it to 5,000 and see if the 4 million will save. If that 4 million will be fake. Then I'm fake. But the reason I went all around to explain, I want him to say, I tired of my salary business, ain't get interest in the country. The country ain't get interest. Several society can pick it up. My colleague can come in the studio and intervene over there. You can't say Senator Dillon get bill over there. Put it on the microphone.
No, I've asked Senator Sowe. I've asked him.
And you support it, right?
Yeah.
Find how many other persons you not ask. But every time you see me wear a bill, I'm tired with that bill business. And then when the country, you, the media, the people, they were in that Capitol building every day to know who will be speaker, who will not be speaker. That's their business. The thing that concern the public, it don't interest them. The thing that should matter to the public, it don't interest them. Say we got a new speaker. What did you not change for you? Who are in that Capitol building all day to see who coming with serving, who not coming with serving? What the thing that you concern you that one you can take interest in? So when passing people say, why your salary bill? I say, you just want to. When you're ready, you don't hear Eddie Jawolo there.
Yeah.
For civil society. Issue a statement, a Dillon faking. That bill will pass it. The money will realize for the country. It will not be fake. The Eddie Jawolo, they will do everything wrong in the legislature.
He said that the media is exhausted.
Of course. Chief, even a work permit thing for Liberians to get job. And that's a Liberian can Citizen United against our, you know. Why are you talking against the Minister of Labor? You think he wants Syria? That's Syria. LSCC invite or someone, public official, other present or former for investigation. That former official and current official, you can see holding placard.
No.
Now they see holding now Citizen United to defend a less corrupt person. They fell with LCC for inviting that person. But when LCC invited the person, then they call the radio, the government won't prosecute, and when the government won't prosecute, that way home, when you eat leadership, just do for the people. Sure. Do your work, it will show later on. Do your work. While you doing your work, some people in the name of politics will curse you. They will disparage you in the name of politics. Even the men who sort of benefit from your advocacy because you're not in the same party. He said, "After you're talking in the name of politics." So the salary issue. Anytime people ask me about that salary, especially media or civil society, people are cheek now. You see what? Join me at the Capitol building. Impress all my colleagues to join me.
The war on drugs.
Well, the war on drugs is taking shape.
Okay. How?
We were struggling from the beginning to take a hold and put get a foothold on it. I believe it's taking shape. When there's more alarm, more arrest, and all the different hidden means by which drug was being smuggled, transported in the country, when all these means are being detected and exposed, it's taking some shape. Okay. But we ain't been here yet.
Okay.
Liberia has one of the best drug laws in the world, and I speak to this with certainty and authority. As a lawmaker, a ranking member of the Judiciary Committee who worked on the concurrence of the amendment of the drug law, the current drug law, and credit to Representative Thomas Boswa of Grand Bassa County, who initiated the amendment from the House of Representatives. And when it came to the Senate, we took our time to add more teeth. Liberia has one of, if not the best drug law in the world. It only short of one thing, death sentence. Only death sentence. Our drug law provides for prison term for 10 years, 25 years and above. Currently, we elevated drug-related issue to capital offense as in not bailable on a certain degree level. We provided for deterrent. If you brought drug in the country on an airplane, the government of Liberia, in keeping with best practices, meaning in keeping with what can happen around the world, the government of Liberia has the authority to confiscate that plane, ground it, and investigate how the drug got on the plane. If investigation proves that that drug, they knowingly, the operator, they knowingly put that drug on the plane to transport it to Liberia, Liberia has right to sell that plane and the money used to empower DEA and other agencies of government fighting drug, including rehabilitation of drug users. In the law, ship. When we catch ship with drug on it, land at our port. When we catch truck or any kind of car, whether that pempe or keke or SUV.
Even if you found in someone's house.
If you find it in someone's house or somebody using their home to sell drug, mass production and other things, mass wholesale and other things, and investigation can show proof that our house that is being used, the proceed is the one that built that house. Government can confiscate the house, seize it, and sell it, and the proceed used to fight drug. In the law just saying that, say, you just use me, you'll see. Some of you are seeing videos of DA officer exposing drug, taking from in the car door. Inside the car door, the car door screwed. And you see them unscrew in the car door. That one person just go in the car and unscrew the car door and put a drug inside. The driver no. The driver or the owner no. And the owner take responsibility of the conduct of the driver that you assign your car to. We can be showing the video there. And nothing happens. And nothing happens. And the government sell one of those cars coming through the border or inside the country transporting drug. And they catch it. And they got to unscrew the car door to take the drug from inside. It means the drug entered that car door with the knowledge of the driver and or the owner of the car. Government has gone by law to sell that car. Imagine a government sell one car like that. You didn't, in fact, when you give your car to the driver, they warning you again. That's what they call deterrence. We put everything in the drug law. In the drug law, we say, when we catch you importing, mass producing, wholesaling, no bill for you. When we catch you, you go to jail, you stay there throughout trial, and when you are convicted, you go into jail for about 25 years. In addition, we say in our drug law, if you are a non-Liberian, when we send you to jail for 25 years, after the 25 years, from prison compound straight to the airport, we deport you into your country. You don't stay in Liberia. In the law. But you see, lawmakers can enforce law, my people. And I'm not making excuse for the lawmaker. And you say I want road and lawmaking. Oversight. And the executive road and enforcement. Why you be pity up for an executive not enforcing the law that we feel making?
Maybe from the oversight
point. But the oversight
is
where the fire is to put the total back. Or if the fire not hard, then the pole stay blinker. Right now, if there's traffic in single, somehow say that traffic where the lawmaker then we feel making a vehicle traffic law. How the traffic should flow in the country. Who's supposed to direct the traffic? The police. But you lawmaker get down and say, let me help to direct the traffic. The simple say, oh lawmaker directing traffic. He even know it for no. I don't know what you can give. So the drug issue, the government is taking some deliberate steps. In my view, it is steady. It is incremental. We need to be even more robust. The DA is being empowered. We took the DA budget in 2024 from around 2 million to close to 4 million as a start. Go recruit manpower, go procure logistics, prepare yourself for the fight against drug. Unfortunately, the personnel at DEA, instead of going prepared to fight drug, they were fighting for power. Almost 6 months to 1 year, there were leadership crises at DEA. The president changed them. And in my view, that's leadership. He brought in an interim team, and then he brought in another team led by Anthony Kuo. The immediate Anthony Swap. You sure Swap? Okay. Then the same power struggle in DEA visited DEA again. So the both ought to be fighting drug and they're fighting for power. How will fight the drug? So the president had to remove them again. DEA problem is not only a financial issue, it's also leadership. There are some people who they're not happy with me. Since I became senator, but they were not wrong for making me senator. There are some people who feel disappointed. But they were not wrong when they made me senator. They believed that I would go do the right thing. The president has never been wrong. We have never been wrong. When we confirmed those people at DEA, they came with a credential and we believe they had the expertise. Their conduct at DEA is disappointing. So from time to time, the president had to keep changing them. The current administration at DEA, they're acting. I don't know whether they should act for long because the way they acting, maybe they get impressed you. After the they will go relax. They go back to Liberia. And, but DEA now is getting logistics. DEA, there's more exposure. In fact, the communities, all of us Liberians together, we are more alike about this. We want to take the initiative to start building more prison compounds, to put more people in jail.
Yeah, because that's one of the issues.
And while they're in jail, especially users and traffickers and importers, while they're in jail, we rehabilitate them there. That is why in our advanced or additional demonstration for concrete action in the fight against drug, Tuesday of next week, I'm submitting to the Senate for consideration that we send to the House, and hopefully it can pass expeditiously for the president to approve it. I'm submitting a bill to amend the authority of Criminal Code D to give a concurrent jurisdiction over armed robbery case and drug cases. Criminal Code D has jurisdiction over only armed robbery case. The other criminal codes, like Criminal Code A, where you have the capital offenses like drug and things that are not billable, that code docket is huge and powerful. And in keeping with the practice, unless it is a murder or treason case like that, or capital offense, the case when it can go on top, it can go way to the bottom. And you understand? So if we want to demonstrate that we want to fight drug, we got to do some fast track some things. So I am submitting that bill. I'm sure my colleagues have spoken to some of them. Good reason behind it. We will pass that bill to amend the authority of Criminal Code T. So again, only have authority on only armed robbery cases. It will have concurrent jurisdiction over armed robbery and drug cases, so that Code D can be the place to speedily prosecute and try and prosecute drug cases. So we can put plenty of people behind bars. The more people behind bars in keeping with the law, the judiciary too will have to help. The law said jail people for 10 years and above. A judge jail a drug user or drug importer for 4 years. That the legislature again will pass a law. The judiciary must help too. Even in a fight against corruption, it must be a holistic fight. All branches must see it serious. Asset recovery team went to recover assets deemed to have been gotten by illegal means, right? The first thing, you're not taking the people property from them to go sell it. You say, we season it. We season it until we investigate, because it can't be in your possession, we'll be investigating, right? The people, how they call it, gracious right?
Gracious right.
They ran to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court put stay order on asset recovery action. Prohibition is issued, or people pray for prohibition for that rate to say the court should stop something from happening because it's illegal. And if it happens, it will injure the person that asking for the rate, the prohibition. So the court must intervene before something illegal happens and they will get injured. So the court put stay order on the asset recovery function by authority over that particular matter. Yeah. In the stay order, the court say return the people's property to them. While we're looking at the stay order petition, the Supreme Court sat down for 9 months to decide one prohibition case. When after 9 months the Supreme Court decided the prohibition, the Supreme Court finally concluded that asset recovery has the authority to do what it's doing, but they must do it in keeping with the law and due process so they can go ahead. When asset recovery went back for the property from Gradual Ride, they were finished selling it. They finished disposing it. Somebody said, asset recovery ain't doing nothing. But asset recovery cannot violate the order of the court. Then the people who want rush prosecution and see people behind bars, imagine if the government through the executive branch, the justice ministry, were ignoring instruction from the court. The simple will say, we respect the rule of law. When you won't respect the rule of law, then the cases are dragging by the judiciary. The judiciary has a role here to play in our collective fight against corruption, financial impropriety. The case with Samuel Tuedem, for instance. Samuel Tuedem, first thing our people must understand that when you charge people, whether you elect the first thing, I must lay the premise here. Feelings can win criminal case. Your feeling about somebody, they person correct. Ain't that your feeling? Yeah. Partisan sentiment and partisan instruction or mandate can win criminal case. The evidence, watertight evidence, proven beyond reasonable doubt that the one can win criminal case. That is why they say when you come to court on criminal prosecution, you should produce or adduce evidence that is watertight and it must be beyond reasonable doubt. Not some reasonable doubt. All reasonable doubt. That is it. So the partisan sentiment and feeling that prosecution is not doing much. Just another way they also talking. When you charge somebody criminally and that crime is bailable, the person file a bond legally, they can be also exercising their democratic right.
I mean, Senator, we're out of time, but let's
no, I want to learn something here.
Yeah, but the executive too has been one thing. I mean, if you look at the case with Bapulu.
So I want to learn on something here. So we prosecuted Samuel Tuedem, but the legal practice, especially in Liberia and other places, everything, anytime somebody raises legal issue, those legal issue motions and things must be tried first before you go to the substance of the case. Even the fire case from the Capitol building, every time the prosecution won't proceed,
that's a motion.
they say, don't admit the thing here because people were tortured. They had a report here, the court said no, we admit it. Then the defendant run to the Supreme Court, then the Supreme Court say, hey, that's that. Y'all hold on here and say, So every time there is an issue of law to be disposed of, it delay the main trial. Then it appears like prosecution weak or the delay. But if you say, okay, the court say, I'm a whole, stay all proceeding until you hear from them. We're not listening to that court when prosecuted poor. In fact, are you okay on the microphone?
But there are times the executive.
I come into the executive aspect. The judiciary is not helping. The delay is too much. The judiciary is the one that interprets the law. The law says speedy trial, impartial and fair trial. There is a reason why the framers of the law did not say the trial must be hasty. It said speedy. There's a difference between speed and haste. Haste can be reckless. It can lead something off. But speed can be deliberate, can be calculated. The judiciary is not helping with speedy trial. They delay too freaking much. They must be brought to book. The executive is being proactive, but it needs to step up. The executive cannot indict, especially public officials, and the public officials stay in their job.
Yeah, I mean,
that is why I agree with my colleague, Senator Boto Kane, that once the executive has indicted the superintendent of Babulu Kade, he should have been suspended the same day. And I'm calling on the Minister of Justice to make the case, because prosecution is under the domain and authority of the Minister of Justice, unless if it is LACC that indicted him, LACC must make the case for his suspension. LACC. But even before LACC and Justice Ministry make the case, the fact that the man is under government indictment, it means government already believes that this man has acted with impropriety, financial, economic impropriety. He cannot be presiding over government function as a superintendent. I'm demanding a suspension today. I concur with my colleague Boto Kane.
This is the Prime Morning Drive on Prime FM 105.5. We'll take just 5 calls. I mean, we got to go. We're already 3 minutes over time. The senator has to go to section. So we'll take just 5 calls. 0776 236 528. 1 minute, because we want to take 5 calls. You the first. Let's hear you.
Good morning, Darius.
Yeah, good morning.
You carry far away to our Senator Darius. This is Senator Sumo calling for Capitol Hill.
Yeah, let's hear you, Zina.
Let me say hats off to the senator. And Senator, you've been a lone fighter on the issue of domestic debts. And we want to applaud you for that. And also, in reference to the 5,000 bill that you proffer to the Liberian Senate. And I like the statement. We Liberians don't know what best for us.
Okay.
Or else by now, we should have been the one to go in numbers and demand our lawmaker to reduce. But the same people you advocate for, they are now the one fighting you. So I just said, Senator Dillon, keep on the good work, keep your eyes on the ball, and your people will judge you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's do this 1 minute, please. Zina was in 1 minute. Hope you 1 minute too. Your name and where you calling from?
Good morning, I'm Adatomi calling from Singa.
Let's hear you. 1 minute, please.
Yes, I just want to applaud the senator for pushing for the Liberian people, and I just want to thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's do this one. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, your name and where you calling from?
Thank you. I'm the president, so I'm in Johnsonville.
Yes, make your point 1 minute, please.
For me, normally I don't agree with the senator everything, but when I saw your show, Daniel, I told when the senator was addressing the issue about his bill, the reduction of their salary, and I was just reading this morning to he's very fair some of what the senator said. I want to agree with him. For the first time, recent time, that like bringing ourselves not serious, because sometimes myself I keep asking the question, why would do more pressure on our leaders? So we just sit alibi and criticize every day. We are not doing anything to put the people we left free to fire to do the right thing. I mean, Senator, you know what? Cannot pass that bill. Like you say, it's fair. You need to support the police. And that is in 1 second. I mean, it's about the judge, but Senator, I agree with what you also said. But some of the things, for example, is people that normally bring the judge. But they say about big things when somehow influence, somebody in government. These are things you people on that should address. When they call you, don't answer them.
Thank you.
You know your issue by yourself.
Thank
you.
you.
Sometimes you people who are here, when they call you, they will give instructions to the subordinates. Oh, my man, shoot that man, load that man, or not that remember. But this so these things will be difficult to handle until those of you in power also can distance yourselves and people commit crime. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's do this. 1 minute over. Good morning.
Tanisha, good morning.
Yes, your name and where you calling from?
Well, I'm in Montserrado, Tanisha, and let me say good morning to Senator Dillon.
Yeah, go ahead.
To be the second, and I'm in Montserrado.
Yeah, quickly.
Tanisha,
yeah.
I listened to the senator, and I think he spoke very well. Look, Senator Dillon is not a disappointment to us. Senator Dillon is a gift to Montserrado and Liberia at large.
Okay.
Look, the senator and many others stood for this administration. And so if the senator is standing up on issues of national concern, this abuse the mind of any Liberian or any United Party or Rescue supporter who will think that because this person is from their county and this person is involved into doing things that will denigrate the administration, the poor Bible will not go only on that person. It comes even on Senator Dillon because he was one of those who campaigned.
Okay, thank you.
So the senator is
Thank you. You're 1 minute over. Thank you.
The right things are done.
Thank you. You're 1 minute over. We said 1 minute. We gotta stick to the time. Good morning.
Oh, good. Yes, good morning, and good morning to the honorable man.
Yes, your name and where you calling from?
My name is Maurice. I'm calling from Tupuru.
Okay.
So the honorable man has been my chief, for a very long time. That is, I have been voting for him. I voted for him the one time. I'm a sedition. But for the fact that he has been putting good things on the table. The election, a re-election, I'll go for him again.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Let's do the last one. You are the last caller. Good morning.
And I'm fortunate and I'm blessed. I want to thank you, Darius. I want to thank Kevin. I want to thank your colleague for bringing our senator on. Senator Dillon is fascinating this morning. Take it or leave it. Darius, let me share this with you quickly. We Liberian, we have our own problem. Sometimes I wonder, you know that Darius, the people deserve to suffer. I like to get your case with Ajipopo. No, take it or leave it. I like to be brutally harsh this morning. I get your classic case with Ajipopo. Ajipopo put up a salary delay for the judiciary workup, the judiciary increment and salary. Ajipopo got brain. I thought that the judiciary workup or the civil servant in general who has stood in solidarity, the next day the people go to work. Can you imagine Senator Dillon? The next day the people go to work. He won't go for himself. He go for himself. When last you see all put up protests, the Liberian people mass protest that Senator Dillon said the highest cap salary, the maximum for government public official should be 5,000. We have our own problem. We deserve to suffer. Take it or leave it. This is the brutal truth.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator. Thank you very much, Senator.
Yeah, that would do it. I mean, we could take calls up to 12 o'clock, but Senator has to go and we have to go to. Senator, you listen to the concerns, and even though 2029 is still far, but I mean, I will ask you, you running or you sitting down?
I'm telling you, I cannot be in office in 2025 and be thinking about 2029. The people who want be there in 2029. They don't want to be thinking and talking about it. My business is to be working every day. When we reach 2029, it will decide itself. The people who want that 2029, that didn't want, will be talking about 2029. I want to thank the callers. I want to thank all of you for listening to and following. Look, let me close unrelated. I hear some people from the opposition say nothing has changed since Boyka became president. That thing made me vex.
Okay.
And I heard people like Mr. Cummings, Alexander Cummings, and and I would not be disrespectful to Mr. Cummings.
Okay.
And any other political leader or Liberian who feel because of politics that nothing has changed. Let Mr. Cummings and Mr. George, we are former president, we are. Two of them from Maryland, from the southeast. Let them get in a car from Maria today and see they will not reach to Maryland today. One of the cars will be stuck in the mud. Then they themselves will know something has changed.
They should drive.
Let them drive in the car. That aren't big Jibo, even small car. If they get stuck anywhere on the road going to Maryland, and it didn't reach today, and possibly it won't come by, it didn't return today, then they themselves will come say, no, the thing will tell Allah, something not changed. Former President Weah and what's her name? Mr. Alexander Cummings. I dared to go put a generator on. It will not start.
Because stay low.
It will not stay low. They use the current. Current is more stable and expanding to more homes and across the country. If you are a national leader, you want to lead the country, and you say nothing has changed since 2024, even the people who you say should vote for you will say you are not serious. Mr. Cummings and Mr. Weah can't be going home this time and ask, call in advance to the hall if LEC there, because they know LEC there. Right? Yeah. Mr. Cummings practically lives in America. And people who doing online show, most of them in America. I get them 1 month challenge. Since Donald Trump took over America, to where we sit today, chicken air price, bread, apple, coffee, rice, gasoline, none of those commodity prices are the same as when Trump took over from Joe Biden. All the prices of commodities gone up in America.
Wow.
Since 2024, I want to put Mr. Cummings and former President, we are on Broad Street for test. Since Joseph Boakai took over, the price of rice that we met is not the same, but it has not increased. The price of gasoline or petroleum product, it is not the same, but it has not increased, it has reduced. And since we took over in January 2024, you don't see Liberians in queue with gallon to gas station and cars in queues fearing that there will be shortage of petroleum product. No shortage, no increase, but the costs have come down. Let Mr. Cummings and Mr. Weir come on Broad Street. Let's debate the issue. Let them tell me what are I talk about rice, eh?
Yeah, you talk about rice.
I talk about rice, right?
Yeah.
They are getting gasoline, right? Yeah. Let them debate this. When they say bread and butter issue, we may not have plenty of people on job yet. That is why we're making the case for the work permitting to be very reviewed, so that people. But when President we have a president and Ellis Cummings and his ANC endorse. Ellis Cummings ANC, he stay in the back and they endorse President we have to continue. Gasoline, we know what will happen here. Rice, we know what will happen here. You understand? LEC, in fact, some we took over, we save even the ordinary people from serious thing, economic hardship. You know how? Honor President Weir, you used to buy credit for your LEC meter, and at the same time, you buy gas for your generator. Because the meter will have plenty of credit on it, but no LEC power. So you can be using your generator. George Weir and Ellis Cummings, and the people who say nothing has changed, those who have generator in the places LEC current reach, they can't tell the last time they put a generator on. You don't hear communities noisy this time. Even when LEC goes, nobody rushing to put a generator on because they know LEC can be general. Right?
In a few minutes.
The people know something has changed. They are just not nationalistic. They are not patriotic to say it.
Okay.
Say something has changed, put me there so I can make it better. Then you're making sense to me. If you say nothing has changed at all, two of you from the southeast, you're getting a car today. And you're in Maryland today. And your car gets stuck. I mean, my people in the rescue mission, I brought all this thing to say, we that in government, having government authority, 2029 should not be our topic. What we must be doing is to reduce the talking point of the people who are talking about 2029 by doing our work every day. Opposition don't talk about LEC stability. Opposition don't talk about how many times you on social media people posting that cars is getting stuck in the mud. We disarming those talking points.
Okay. All right, Senator. Thank you, Senator. Yeah, that's Senator Abraham Darius Dillon. We have to go. Kelvin Demi in the U.S. There. Any final word before we go?
Even right now, government, the American government shut down for almost a month now.
Yeah.
American government shut down. The U.S. House of Representatives running away from session.
Yeah. Kelvin, are you there? Finally, we gotta go.
He said nothing happened in Liberia. You're being a debate with some of us on Broad Street.
Senator Dillon is interrupting my parting comments.
Partner, let's do your parting comment. We gotta go. We're out of time. Way out of time.
Yeah, I'd like to say thanks to Senator Dillon, but we need to do the media has to do an audit review on Senator Dillon, and he knows what I'm talking about.
The media or you?
Wait, don't put it in the media. Need the media or you? All right. Thank you. Okay, Kevin, we gotta go and let's acknowledge Image TV, DTV Online, Report 231, DN News Online, Terrier Online, Spark TV, Today Liberia, Light New Africa, Fox TV, The Heat Media, The Excellent Liberian TV, Closing Argument, 45 TV, and The Class Reloaded. Wow,
and special credit and recognition and appreciation to Bushwalk Radio 98.1
okay.
for relaying.
For relaying, okay.
And Joy FM 101.5 for also relaying.
All right, so that will do it. Senator Dillon, thank you so much for coming.
Closing argument,
Yeah, on behalf of Arthur Beer, my name and Tefelas Davi, my name is Daniel Mate. See you tomorrow. Shalom, peace, and life to you. Bye-bye.